talk to you guys about complex roots and complex numbers. I said that backwards. But first I want to start by talking about the number I. What is the number I? Well, I is an imaginary unit, or we can call it an imaginary number. I'm not going to be picky. So what you guys are going to see here today, and it may be difficult to appreciate right away, is that I is a more bizarre number than some of the other wacky numbers that we've learned about in math so far, like pi or e. So why is I such a strange number? Well, it doesn't have a tangible value in the sense that we normally use to define numbers. So what is the definition of I? I is defined as a number whose square is equal to -1. Let's write that out once. Maybe it'll make more sense. I is a number, so I is a number whose square, so I squared, is equal to -1. And some people define it as, which is not wrong, this is the true definition of I, but what does that look like? What is just I equal to? Well, they say that I would be equal to the square root of -1. Have we ever been told that we could take the square root of a negative number? No. We always told that's not possible. Well, turns out it is, but it's an imaginary number. So using these definitions that we've just talked about, let's look at some powers of I. What would I to the 0th power be? I would assume 1, because it's true in I, just like it's true in all numbers, that anything to the 0th power is equal to 1. So I to the 1st power, we know the rule that anything to the 1st power is that number times 1. So I to the 1st power is going to be equal to I. I squared, I didn't put a 1 there. I squared is equal to, by definition, that I is defined as a number whose square is equal to -1. Let's look at I cubed. Well, I know that I cubed would be I squared times I. And we already know what both of those are. I squared times I. I know that I squared is -1. So -1 times I. So our answer being -I. My writing's ugly. -I. Let's look at a few more. I to the 4th power. What would that be? Well, I know what I cubed was, so I can just say that it's I cubed times I. I cubed, that was -I. Try to make sure I was right. So we know that I, so it's -I times this I right here. And now if I break these down by product properties, where I can move them around, -I would be -1 times I, correct? So we have a -1 times I. Well, I know that I times I would be I squared, which we found out is -1. So this is technically equal to -1 times -1, which is 1. So I to the 4th is equal to 1. And make sure that when you guys are writing this in your notes, write this out so that you know how we arrived at these answers. I to the 5th. Well, I know what I to the 4th is. That's 1. So I'm going to say that this is I to the 4th times I, with I to the 4th being 1. 1 times I. So I to the 5th is just equal to I. I to the 6th. Well, I know what I to the 5th is, so this would be I to the 5th times I. I to the 5th is I times I. I times I would be I squared, which is equal to -1. Let's look at I to the 7th. I to the 7th is I to the 6th times I. I to the 6th is negative 1. Negative 1 times I is negative I. One more. I to the 8th would be I to the 7th times I. And I to the 7th was negative I. Negative I times I. Well, I times I is negative 1. So we have a negative, negative 1, positive 1. So I to the 8th is 1. So if you look back at our answers for these, do you guys see a pattern forming?